Accept. Any minute she'll be on. I'm so glad this worked. I was a little nervous. All right, let's see. There you are.
Hello.
Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I'm so sorry. I apologize for the little bit of technical glitch there. I'm not
It's
sure.
okay. I think I was trying to request it as you were trying to request me, and then it just, yeah, it was, you know what? We're here. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
So I know I have a few people jumping on as we're speaking. I'm really excited to have you on with me tonight. And well, it's tonight here. It's night where you are. You're in Canada, right? So you're on the East Coast as well of Canada, right? So
yeah.
But I'm really excited, and I'm so glad that we got it together. But I just wanted you to, if you'd like to just start by, sharing a little bit about yourself and, your journey and where you've been and a little bit of who you are. How's that sound?
Oh gosh, that's a lot. But thank you for having me on here. I'm so excited to do this with you. I felt so connected when we actually chatted. I remember telling Corlin that we're collabing, and it's just so exciting to be here. So for those of you who don't know me, like for anyone in Anna's community, and even if anyone's here new in my world, I'm Tanya. I'm the founder of Warrior Life Creative. It's a full-scale holistic creative agency. We specialize in nurture content, marketing and creation, brand photography, podcast management, all of the stuff, but we're not your usual agency because we also bring with us a mentorship component, because I think it is so important to integrate all of these things and to not be disconnected from your social media content, from your brand and business. And so we do that through Holy Fire Reiki, and obviously like one-on-one coaching with our agency clients. And then what's the other thing that I had on my mind? Human design. We weave a lot of that in. That's what I weave in. And then I have a team that's incredibly human design aligned and spiritually and just consciously aligned with all of these pieces.
That's awesome. Can you actually talk a little bit about how you weave like the Reiki and the human design into something that really doesn't seem like that would fit? Like the fact that you're meshing these things together is so cool to me.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of love to hear a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So with Reiki and with human design, right? Like, I mean, two separate things, but really at the heart of it, we help entrepreneurs hone and master their energetics. And your energy is just that. It's how you feel, the emotions that are coursing through you up and down, right? And like you're human. Business is human. That's a slogan. That's literally a thing that we keep saying. And I'm like, let's make social media soul media, because you can't be disconnected from it. It might feel disconnected because we're kind of, in a box, in a screen, but we're human, right? So it's tuning into who you are, the essence of who you are. A lot of times, at least for me, especially my own journey, this is something I'm still working through. Like, these are layers that I'm still working through because it's a lifelong evolution. My own self-expression journey, it took me 3 years to feel confident enough to show up online. And not that I hadn't shown up online before, but I always found myself doing this. Oh, I'm here, peekaboo. And then I go into hiding for like the next 5 months, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I noticed when I did show up, I loved showing up. Yeah. But then I'm like, why do I not like showing up? And then that's where I noticed this underlying iceberg, where I talk a lot with my hands. So just an FYI for anybody watching. So, underneath that iceberg, it's like thoughts of like, what are people going to think of me? And by people, I mean friends, family, strangers, right? Like, who am I to be doing this? Who am I to be showing up online as if I'm like a freaking Kardashian or like whatever? Who am I to be doing this, right? And then it's also feeling the lump in your throat, and energetically, like it's, it correlates to wanting to speak your truth, but maybe you were shamed for it as a child, or maybe, something happened, like be it a friendship, be it a business partnership, doesn't matter what it is. We hold energy in our bodies at every center. In yoga and stuff they call this, and in the Bhagavad Gita and stuff they call this the chakra system. But plain and simple, in traditional Chinese medicine, these are called meridians, right? Like we have them no matter what you believe in, whatever. I like to fuse facts with the mystical, with the spiritual, because when you look at it that way, it makes sense, right? Science will call it, oh, like you have something, you have like a tumor in your throat. Gee, I wonder why. Right? Like if you've gone through, and oftentimes they look at a spiritual correlation.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah,
that's a small taste of like what we do. So we really peel back the layers, because when people come to me, it's like, can I just hire you guys to do my copy? Can I just hire you guys to manage it all for us? I'm like, you can, but you're going to feel disconnected from it. So we don't create it all for you. We create it with you. My client, like Abba, is watching. Health Has No Finish Line. She's watching right now. Ask her, like, I'm literally in our Voxer and she's in our Voxer, like we're kind of like volleying back and forth. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this for your content? Or I'm kind of sensing this from you and I can see your next evolution. What do you feel? How do you feel? And then she'll tell me, oh my God, I was actually thinking that a few days ago. And I'm like, gee, wow, okay, my brain's like in sync, right? So it's a constant co-creation, because you are the soul of your business. You are the heart of your business. No amount of strategy will equate the soul. You need strategy. You need the metrics. You need strategy, but no amount of storytelling techniques and tips and no amount of caption templates is going to help you. If you don't believe in your message and if you don't feel it, like full body feel it, and then it's cultivating safety in how you show up and sharing it.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
100%, 100%. So I'd love for you to speak to this audience, and specifically, I feel like finding your voice, right? Really struggling to find their voice. I know I've struggled. I mean, historically, I've struggled. I still struggle. I weave in and out just like you, right? So what, I'd love to really tap into that for our audience, like tonight while we're on, and like talk a little bit about finding your voice and about that lump in your throat and about all of those pieces that, keep us from being our full expression of ourselves because we're afraid. God created us as these gorgeous humans, right? With so much dynamic personalities, and we give them this much, right? Because we're so afraid. We have so much fear in us. So I'd love to talk about that.
I love that you mentioned that, because I shared something, I think I wrote this like a few weeks ago and then I reshared it again on Facebook, but I will share it to Instagram after this. It was literally like, you were created and God created you with so much love and divine intention, just like everything else in this world was created. Do you really think you have no purpose? Like, do you really think you have no purpose being here? Do you really think that your purpose in life is only to wake up, go to a job, pay bills, retire at 65 or whenever, and then die? Like, do you really think that's your purpose? Well, not knocking the 9 to 5s, but it's great to do that. But apart from that, you have a purpose. Maybe that purpose is being an amazing parent, right? Maybe that purpose is in your job, whether it's medicine, whether you're working at a retail store, I don't care what you're doing for your job, right? It's a means to an end, right? Like we have people that do the jobs. And then you have people that have a calling. Right. And those are like vocations, be it in medicine, teaching, healing, whatever, acting, like they're vocations. And then there's people that are like, hey, let's be like freaking Steve Jobs and like, let's be the crazy misfits and go change the world. Right. Like that's my view of these things. But no matter where you fall in that spectrum, no matter what you do, doing things with intention will take you one step closer to your purpose. Like even when I worked in corporate, even when I worked at freaking Tim Hortons, okay, like I was a barista throughout high school at Tim Hortons, and then I worked in retail in the mall, like no matter what I did, and then I was a fundraiser in university at one point, and then a team leader, and like no matter the type of jobs I did, it was always connecting with people. I loved connecting with people, learning their stories. What's actually like, what is that music playing in the background? What does that tell me about you? When you're all frumpy and telling me about your coffee order, crap, you're probably having a really bad day. So how can I mean, I know you're not going to remember me like after you grab your coffee to go, but how can I make it better? Like, what can I do? What's the extra step that I can do to give you value and make your day better, right? And when you take that principle, no matter what job you do, no matter whether you're an entrepreneur or like you work in corporate or like whatever it is, it helps you gain more perspective, and it'll help you get through each day that much faster. It'll help you find your voice because you're learning so much about others, and then you're kind of relating it back to, whoa, hang on, I just got perspective. Like someone else has it worse than me, or how great it is that someone else can drive in like a young 20-something-year-old with a Porsche. No one knows what that is. Maybe her parents got it for her, or maybe she just monetized the shit out of social media and is earning a 6-figure income or multiple 6-figure months. I know women younger than me earning multiple 6 figures. And when I look at that, I look at it like, holy crap. If they can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
And then I sign up to be in mentorship with those women.
Yeah.
Even if it's a course, doesn't matter what it is. Grab a seat, pull up and sit at the table because there's enough space for all of us.
Yeah.
And if there are tables where you feel like you're not welcome at, okay, stop chasing, attract, and create your own damn table.
Yeah. It's true, right? Yeah. It's so true. So really finding your voice is kind of like just doing what comes natural to you, like if being friendly to people when you were serving coffee. I'm laughing. My daughter actually works at a coffee shop here in the States. So, and she always gets a lot of feedback. I think she's on now watching us, but she gets a lot of feedback like, oh, you made my day, or oh, it was happy. And she knows whose order, like people come in and she knows their order and stuff. So it's kind of funny that you were saying that. But I think that we take for granted that because that comes naturally to her, let's say, or to you, came naturally, that it's not important or that it's not valid or it's not part of
100%,
right?
100%, right? Like, and to really dive into finding your voice. So look at the things that come naturally to you, number one. Like ever since you're a kid, what are, and for those of you watching now or even the replay, list, there might be more than 10 or there might be less than 10, but I always list 10 things that you really love doing as a child.
Yeah.
Right? Then reflect on your teenage years, right? Or if those of you are still teenagers, great. What are some things you like doing right now? And for those of us who are older and like past our teens, what are some things that have still stayed as you've grown up? Those are your things, right? That's on one end of the spectrum. And then what do people come to you with? What are people asking for your help with?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. There's a common theme there, right? There's a common thread. There's a common theme. And I'm not saying everyone has to go out and save the whole wide world. Start by saving yourself. Yeah. Start by saving the people around you. Start by shining your light, right? Sharing your truth or your voice for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because when you start sharing for yourself, it doesn't matter if someone doesn't like it. It's okay. Someone else might like it, but you're doing it for yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So, and I love that because it's not about saving the world. It's the little step in between, the little step well before saving the world that's so important. It's the everyday little things that we do or that we tap into that do it. And it comes along with like the self-care piece, that the self-love, like learning to love yourself enough to really just be who you are, no matter where you are. And the people that you're touching will feel it, and the people that aren't in alignment with you, that's okay. It's not a big deal. It doesn't mean I have to change who I am or speak a different truth. I get to be who I want to be, no matter what, right?
And the funny thing, actually, it's not funny. Like the ironic thing with truth is we all have our own truth.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can I share my truth and hold my energy and hold space for myself and others while respecting that there are others that might think differently than I am.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, especially like with everything going on over the last couple of years, almost 2 years now, with everything that's going on right now, what I see happening is a lot of like us versus them, a lot of division. And it's probably always been there, but the pandemic just amplified it all.
Yes. Yes.
It just amplified it like a gazillion times, right? So we're more, I don't know about you, but we're more cognizant of these things and we feel a slight shift. We feel the friction. We feel these things. So it's like, how can you, and especially those who are watching, I'm assuming these are women either or humans rather, who want to share their truth online, who are starting businesses or are in business and want to kind of grow more, whatever that may be. It's okay for you to be who you are and still hold space for someone else who thinks differently than you. Yeah. And this is where I say kindness heals everything. So in your storytelling, how can you be kind? You know, when you're writing your story, when you're writing a caption, when you're sharing your truth, like right now on video or in a podcast, it doesn't matter the medium. Is it true? If it's true, whose truth is it? Is it yours or someone else's?
Yeah.
Check yourself. Like literally do a body scan. Check yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Is it kind?
Yeah.
Is it going to better someone's life? Like, does it add to this world, or is it gonna is it gonna help elevate yourself and others?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna rub people the wrong way? And when I say rub people the wrong way, it's really, what is the intention behind you sharing something? Are you doing it for the likes and saves and blah, blah, blah? Or are you sharing because you're so fired up and people feel that energy? Like, I really do believe it translates from your heart right down through to your fingertips.
Yeah. And you know, it's so important that you said that just now, because I think that is vital, like really vital for all of us to, what's the intention behind what we're saying or what we're doing. And I know, like, I've caught myself many moons, like for historic, like, you know, I can be vindictive, or I can be, but you know, like, you know, oh, I wish, you know, you say something, you're kind of jabbing them or giving them a little stab, right? And you know, to take that away and be like, wow, that's not the intention I want to spread, right? I might not agree with that person. I might feel even really hurt by that person. That person may have really done something that really like hurt me, like hurt my feelings. And but if by me giving them a little jab or a stab, that's not going to help the situation, right?
No.
Right? But to come from that beautiful space of love, like you're talking about, in your truth, and be okay with the fact that, okay, that's okay. And I don't have to tolerate that as well, but I don't have to fight it. I don't have to give it a voice and give it energy. I can be in a different space with that.
100%. And to make this more tangible as an example, right? Like, as leaders, we're expected to stand for something, right? Or else you'll fall for everything and blah, 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 like all of that stuff. As leaders, we're really here to lead. We're not here to follow. We're not here to do what everyone else is doing and in the way that everyone else is doing. We really are here to do it in a way that works for us. So how does this translate into a tangible thing? If you're writing a post, or if you're even sharing something that you feel is like kind of controversial or polarizing, which also helps grow your audience. But when you're doing that, it's okay to preface it. Preface it by saying, I know not everyone agrees with this, and I respect it 100%. This is just me sharing what's on my heart, and my intention isn't to offend all of you. I'm here to just have an educated, open conversation.
Yeah.
And my thoughts, share my thoughts on it, and then launch into your stuff, right? Your language and semantics at every step of the way, when you look at it, you need to maintain centrality. You need to, even when you're on one end of the spectrum or the other, no matter what you're talking about, whether it's your niche or whether it's a perspective on something, you still got to maintain objectivity.
Exactly.
Right? Because then you're able to respect all voices, right? And then when you're respecting all voices, you're able to then hear in your heart center what's still true for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yes. And I really, I'm so interested to hear a little bit more on some of the strategies, or I don't even know if I want to call them strategies, some of the ways that you get women to really hone in on their voice, like even whether they're entrepreneurs or not. What would be some things that, I know you talked about being kind and coming from that aspect and coming from what you believe is your truth, but what are some things that maybe, you know, everybody could benefit from when they're starting to speak of their truth, meaning when they're starting to say yes to themselves? That's really what happens, right? Speaking your truth is about saying yes to what feels good to you, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what feels in alignment for you, not for my, you know, my brother or my sister or my aunt, my uncle, but for me, right? And so that's really what speaking our truth is about. And do you have any kind of strategies or things that you use with your clients to get them to that point where they're really in alignment?
You know, embodiment, and it's such a thrown around word now in the online space, but really Where in your body do you feel anything as you're going to share something? Some people feel it like their hands are trembling or like sweaty. Some people's hearts are pounding for some reason. You're not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, but your heart is still pounding. Some people feel it in their gut. Some people's legs get a bit shaky, or some people just have nerves all of a sudden, right? It can look different. It can feel different. Some people just go into dissociation, right? It's like, oh, like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Like I will show up. And when I'm showing up and performing, I'm air quoting this because I did that for my whole life. Like it was like an out-of-body experience. Every time I was on stage, like I would do it and I would do it well, but I wasn't in my body. Like I had it literally, people were like, oh, you did so well. I'm like, really? I don't freaking know what you're talking about, because that was not me. Like me was somewhere hidden safely. Like I go into a different part, right? So it's like kind of fusing the mind and body together and really cultivating safety. And how do you cultivate safety? You do one small thing a day. You don't have to go, you know, sometimes people start with, I'm going to show up on 5 social media platforms and go gung-ho every single day. And then like by the end of the week, they've fizzled out. And then they're like, oh crap, like I don't have the energy to sustain this.
I've done that. I tried that.
I've tried it too. Of course you don't, because your nervous system's not used to that. That's like saying you want to go from charging $25 an hour to like all of a sudden now your packages are like $5,000. If you haven't calmed your nervous system down, if you haven't regulated emotionally little by little, right? Increase it in increments from a place that feels good for you. The $5,000 sale is going to feel icky, for instance, and that money is not going to stay with you. It's going to find a way to leave your hands. Right. So, you know, to come back to like sharing your voice and standing in your truth or doing that one small thing for you, what feels good for you today? Does it feel good for you to just reshare someone's post that you really resonated with? Reshare it, maybe, and then in your stories, put your viewpoint, just 1 or 2 sentences. Tag that person, because that's you building connection and that's you building community. And that's you still taking the action, which is showing up on social media with confidence in a small way. Believe it or not, sharing posts like I did today or every day in my stories, at one point in time, I used to get very afraid of sharing stories. Even writing a post in the Instagram story, like I used to feel a lump in my throat, not like I'm speaking, but I would still feel it because I'm like, oh crap. Oh crap. Now I feel like I'm getting more real. Now I feel like I'm getting more vulnerable. But it's okay for you to get vulnerable.
You know,
right?
Let's talk a little bit about vulnerable.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. That I feel like is the big thing, right? That's the big elephant in the room with all of us in this space. And I feel like with people even, you know, that are watching now or who will watch it, that, you know, we're all vulnerable, right? We're all just showing up, doing the best we can. I mean, we started this with, I had to stop and start again, right? You know, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, right? And it works. So I think that that's a big space, a big word right now too, is to step into, sometimes finding your truth is about being vulnerable, right? About being, because you're being who you are, your authentic self, and that can feel not safe when we were supposed to fit in this box, right? We're supposed to fit into this box. So, you know, being vulnerable is when you step out of the box and it's not so, it feels not safe. But then I know for myself, at least once I do it like this, I was a little nervous coming on tonight. This is my first live interview.
You're doing so well.
On Instagram. On Instagram. I've done other platforms, but I've never used Instagram. So I was really nervous about it, right? So, but now I'm like, oh, this is cool. I love it.
Cool,
you know,
right?
I'm into it. Right. So it's just saying yes, getting over that little fear and going forward. And you know what? Some people might be like, this is the stupidest thing she's ever done. And I'm like, okay, well, that's okay.
It's not for them.
It's not for me. I'm doing this for me.
Yeah. And you know, there's people like, I think Shruti, like I remember her commenting on your post. You have her watching. There's your daughter. There's my client. There's another friend. Whoever is meant to tune into your content
Well, right.
will tune into it.
Exactly.
Whoever is meant to read your book will read your book.
Yes.
Whoever's life is meant to be changed or saved by hearing your story,
right.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
You don't have to force it, right? All that matters is when you show up being fully who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And to talk about vulnerability, I often see this thing in the online space. And I mean, I used to see it a lot like a few years ago. So I've been in the online space for about 4 years now.
Oh, okay.
This November would be like 4 years. But, people kind of have it. It's like the vulnerability athletic competition or something. Like who can be the most vulnerable? Who's gone through the most shit in their life, right? And can share it in a post, and then that post garners likes and blah, 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 whatever. Nothing wrong with sharing your shit, but there's an elegant way to do it from your heart without tarnishing anyone's name, without dragging anyone through the mud, without airing all of your laundry. And the way you do that is by looking for the lessons in said experience. Look for what it taught you. What was the lesson there? Right. And if you could use that lesson, chances are there's probably 100 more people that need that lesson. Take that experience, turn that into a post, but turn the lesson into a post.
Right. Exactly.
So when you're storytelling, you can kind of go briefly like, hey, I kind of, let's talk, because we're in the coaching world. Oh, like I invested in blank program, and part of me, I liked it, but I didn't get what I came for. Well, okay, whatever. But here's what I learned from it. Because I guarantee you, specifically with that example, nothing is ever a wasted investment. You're always going to learn something or the other and take away something. And nothing is ever a wasted experience.
And I'd like you to share that even further. I think every experience, nothing is wasted. So even when we think we made a bad decision, right? Oh, bless you.
Oh God, almost choked there for a bit, but
not on live, please. But not every experience, although sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable, is an experience that is an availability for us to learn and to grow. And it may just be like, I didn't like that, right? So then you know not to do that one again, or I love that, or whatever it is, whatever experience it is, and you learn from it instead of beating ourselves up. Which I know, I can do it with the best of them. Instead of beating ourselves up, we can just be like, all right, this is okay. I you know what, next time I'll move this way, or it taught me this, and look what opportunity I had to learn, right? And then moving forward and stuff. So yeah, that's great. So before we kind of like wrap up, I want to hear a little bit more, like, do you have anything? I know my audience, if anybody ever wanted to work with you or wanted to do anything, how can they do all of that? I know they can just hop on technically right now and kind of tap your what is it called? What's it called? I don't even know.
My profile handle?
Your profile. Yes, your profile. Yeah, there you go. Your profile.
Yeah. So I have this free series called the Story Heal Her series. And it's basically a free community give back that I do every single month. I started it in August. I didn't get to September because September was a little bit crazy with back to school and all of the things. So now that, we're in October, I'm having it. When is the 27th? I'm having a free series at 8 p.m. EST. It's going to be held on Zoom. It's absolutely free. Come gather in community and fellowship. I'm going to do a group Holy Fire Reiki healing for everyone, right? So you bring your intentions, what you want to release, what you want to ask for, or pray for, or whatever. This is not by any means religious, but I do pray to like the archangels and like God and all of that stuff, and it's more based on Christ consciousness. So that's what I embody and bring through in my work. And apart from the group healing Reiki session, it's just humans gathered together. When I thought of this series, I was literally thinking of campfire style, like coming and telling stories, like share your expression, what's on your heart, and then we kind of all witness each other. So story witnessing leads to story healing, because we often don't need people to tell us what to do or how to do something. Sometimes we just need to be witnessed and held.
Yeah.
And that in itself brings about healing, right?
Yep. That's awesome. And
So
I'm thinking like I will definitely like to we'll talk more, but get that link from you and I can pop
I
it
will, I'll
like
send it to you.
stories and stuff. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, and like my membership or member mind, which I know I haven't shared about it openly as yet, but I guess y'all will be the first to hear it. That's starting in a couple months or 2 months. But basically, think of it as I teach you to fish, as opposed to me doing all of your copy and content. You're really going to learn how to fish. You're going to have copywriting reviews. So if you have your captions, content, sales stuff that you want reviewed, put it in the group. Like it's a membership space, but it's very, very close, tight knit. I'm thinking community again. You know, you get Reiki sessions, you get guest coaches in there. There's going to be me teaching in there and training and all of the things. There's going to be more details. Like I haven't put it out fully yet, but that's something that's next in the works.
That's it.
That's my big thing.
Abridged first version. How's that?
Yeah. So.
Well, I love that. I love the campfire idea. In fact, when I was running my Soul Care Sundays, that's kind of what I used to set up, like a little candle thing in the center, and we'd go around in a circle. We did everything in the circle. And I used to say it's kind of like we're at the campfire. I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, I mean, similar. You know, I would love to do this in person, but right now we're doing it on Zoom.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I like, you know, with the program, I had it last year for 4 months. It was the inaugural round and it was so potent. And people loved it. And so this year I was like, how can I make the impact bigger, especially the time that we're in right now? Like my whole accessibility is a core value of mine. So it's like, how can I keep it accessible, but how can I have enough people having skin in the game so you actually show up? Because if you show up, you're going to find and get the results. But that's always the case. And, you know, like, how do you learn how to fend for yourself? Like, you can't share your voice unless you know how to tap into your voice and harness your voice. And then you go and hire whoever the heck you want to go hire. Don't do it before that, right? So yeah,
don't jump the gun is what you're saying.
Exactly.
That would be true with anybody. I mean, I think even, you know, like you were saying before, teenagers versus 20, you're like going to when you were a kid, what you loved, then as a teenager, then as an adult. I'm just summarizing because I loved that idea of, you know, picking the 10 things that just came naturally to you and then let them come back and be like, oh, this is my truth. This is who I am. And the more I do this, the more fun I have, the more pleasurable my life is, the more I enjoy things, and the less I worry about everybody else, and the more I have to give to the people I love around me, right?
100%. And sometimes it's okay to do something that's just for you and that's not something you monetize, right? Like as entrepreneurs, like we're always like, oh, like I could probably create a quick offer and sell this and people are going to love it. And they often do, but I'm like, no, like I want this to just be something that's mine. Like I don't want to, you know? And so it's like, even like whatever you choose to do, find those few things that are just yours, find something that you can monetize and kind of fuse the two together, right?
Love it. I was so excited that we connected tonight.
Me too.
And this worked. I'm really excited. And for anybody, I know we lost a few people, but whatever, whoever ends up coming on, I'll be able to get those links and I'll have it on my feed as well, on my Instagram feed. So between the two of us, hopefully you'll find some new to come and hang out with you, right?
Yeah, and if any of you guys have any questions or whatever, like my inbox is always open. Like, you know, come connect, say hi. Like I don't bite. Like I love connecting with people. So yeah, just come hang out.
Well, thank you so much. It was great to have you on with me tonight, and I know we're going to connect again. I'm actually next week a guest on her podcast, so I'm really excited. Well, we're recording, right? It won't be airing, so but I'm actually excited.
No, we can air it. I'm totally fine with airing it live.
Oh no, okay, we'll do it live.
I'm totally fine with doing it live.
So I'll send that link. You'll send me the link for that then. I'll do that. Perfect. We'll talk business. We'll talk shop later. But anyway, well, thank you very much. Have a great night, everybody. And thank you. Bye.